Hello everybody and welcome to my beginner's guide to RuneScape. What this is going to be is a guide for those of you who haven't actually played this game before and are joining with the release of RuneScape on mobile. So as you can see right now, I'm just customizing my character, and I am just going to skip through Tutorial Island since it will be good for you guys to pay attention and you can learn what exactly you need to do for each skill and get comfortable with how the game works and whatnot. So I'm just going to finish customizing and I'll meet you guys back in Lumbridge. Okay everybody, we are on to the mainland now. I'll just move my character into the open so you can see. So one thing right off the bat I recommend is just while you're learning the controls and kind of learning the game is to close the public chat and whatnot. There's not a whole lot of info that you're going to get told from there, and it just takes up a large part of the screen, so it just gives you more room to click and whatnot. So just to begin, I'll just remind you guys that using two fingers, pinching them together, zooms out, spreading them apart, zooms in. So that's one thing you might see me doing and you're not really sure how to do it on your own. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go deposit all my items in my bank. The reason I'll be doing this is just I don't like to have my inventory full in case I see items that I like, and it just makes it a whole lot easier. Once I need certain items, I can see where they are. So this is going to be the closest bank to where we start. So I'm just going to head up here and just dump all my items off. So we're going to actually be doing two quests that are very close to each other just to get us started and give us access to some more parts of the game. So we're going to need a bucket, a pot, and I think there's one more thing. Maybe not. I think that's it. Yeah, so we're going to be starting off doing Cook's Assistant and Sheep Shear. The reason these are super nice is because what you need to do to complete them is all very close to each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to the... Oops, I accidentally went to climb down the trapdoor. One thing I do also recommend is getting a stylus to play on your mobile with. It makes your clicks a lot more accurate and just makes the gameplay a whole lot easier. So we're just going to go through the text for this quest. The text doesn't really matter too much with these earlier quests. Later on you'll need to kind of pay attention if you want to understand the backstory and kind of generally what's going on, because there is a pretty good storyline to most of the quests, and there is a bit of humor in some of them, but it really in the end doesn't make too much of a difference. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be going to so I started Cook's Assistant quest. So you can go into your quest list there and you can see now that it's yellow that you've started the quest. Another kind of tip is to use your mini map to move around, because you can click a fair bit further than when you're clicking on the ground. It's pretty close, but it just makes it a lot easier without having to change your view. Alright, there's Farmer Fred, so we're going to talk to him to get this quest started. So he does have, there's like an item requirement, I guess, for this quest, and it's a pair of shears. And we're going to say we have them just because he has a spawn of shears in the inside of his house, so that means that there's going to be some in here already. So we're just going to zoom in a little bit. You can see him on the table here. I'll just let you guys check that out. So you just tap on them and then they go into your inventory. So the items you need for Cook's Assistant are the bucket and the pot, because we're going to be putting milk. I think this guy's trying to troll me. Good job. Okay. Yeah, so you need the bucket because we're going to be putting milk in it, and we need the pot because we're going to be putting flour into it. So you can see we need to grab, for the Cook's Assistant quest, we need to grab an egg, and then we need to go grind up some flour at the mill just up here. So we go pick our wheat, and we head towards the top of the mill. For the most part, when I'm going to these places where obviously some of you have never been before, some of you might have in the past but just don't quite remember, I'm not going to fast forward too much throughout this, just so you guys can see exactly what needs to be done and exactly where to go. So we're going to start off putting the grain in the hopper, go work the controls, and head back down to the bottom floor because that is where the ground up wheat will be now in the form of flour. So we'll pick up our flour, and now we just need to get milk from, there's actually cows back here, which I always tend to forget about. So we are going to head over to this dairy cow and milk it. So for those of you that aren't quite sure how exactly I'm doing this, when you tap and hold on the screen, that's how you make these menus come up to be able to select different options. Because as you can see, if you were just to click on a cow, it attacks it. But with things with multiple options like this dairy cow, like you could milk it or steal its cowbell. So anything like that, like opening doors and stuff, you can mostly just click. But there are a couple different things. As you'll go along, you'll find out have different options to click. So now we're going to be heading back to the sheep pen to collect our wool to spin into, to collect our wool to spin into 10 balls of wool. So this part I will fast forward because I'll show you just kind of what needs to be done. So as you can see, there's a couple different sheep here. I'll try and follow them. This one is a ram. You cannot shear that one. It will attack you. So you want to stay away from the ones with the horns and just shear these guys. One tip I will leave you guys with is if the world you're in is full when you have to do this, it's just a lot easier to hop worlds and find an open one, especially with it being free to play. Bots are very relevant and they tend to take over just because they don't like have the same courtesy that a normal player would. Like they're just trying to get their quests done and start grinding money to sell it, so they aren't going to be too worried about what you're doing and if they're stealing your sheep. Okay, so now we have our 20 wool. We're going to be heading back to the castle because that is where the wheel to spin the wool into balls of wool is. But on the way, we're going to talk to the melee combat tutor, and the range combat tuner. Actually, we'll stick with melee. That'll be our first combat skill we'll be working on. So he gives you a little description of how melee works, kind of the general idea behind it. And he gives you a training sword and training shield, which is better than the items we were given right off the bat. One thing I find is that a lot of other guides do is they either start off in members worlds or they start off with money. Like they have money from other accounts, which a lot of people that are new to the game don't have already. So the plan for this guide is to start from scratch, have this account completely fund itself, and play the way a normal player would. Not everybody has access to membership right off the bat, so they want to grind out some skills, make sure they like the game first off, and then make the membership more worthwhile when their account's already a little higher level, which is what I did with my account. I didn't get membership until I was already we actually could have finished this quest already. What you could have done is went and talked to the cook right as you came in, but I instinctively went to the bank. That's just kind of my habit for me whenever I'm in Lumbridge. But yeah, so the second floor is where the spinning wheel is. So we're going to be making, we want your, where the numbers are at the top there, you want it set to all, so that way all you have to do is tap the button, and it'll automatically spin them for you. I think if we turn XP drops on, yeah, you get 2 crafting XP per ball, which isn't very much, but then you'll get a good boost once you finish the quest. I think it sends you to 3 crafting. Okay, so we have our wool spun into balls of wool. We're going to head back down to the main floor and complete the cook's assistant quest, which will be helpful later because we'll be using this range to cook shrimps and maybe anchovies. I'm not exactly sure what level I'll be I'll be getting us to. But there we go. We got 300 cooking XP. And now, unlike before, we can use this range. So that level 4 cooking matters quite a bit, because now we won't be burning nearly as many shrimp right when we start, which will be awesome for when we start fishing. So we're going to head back to Farmer Fred and hand in our 20 balls of wool and complete the sheep shear quest. Alright, and we are just finishing up the sheep shear quest. Should be getting our pop-up here soon. There we go. We've got 150 crafting XP, which puts us at, yeah, level 3 crafting. So sweet. Get a nice little start to the crafting grind. And then this one is going to be a little bit of homework for you guys. We're going to be working on our first skills here now that we have 2 quest points. I want us to get a few combat levels before we start getting into skilling. So this will be good for all you guys that haven't really done combat too far. You'll learn the system. You're going to want to use this menu over on the left hand side. This will decide which XP you'll be gaining, or which stat you'll be gaining XP for. So you can see you have your attack, your strength, your defense, and your HP. So those are all, so the attack, strength, and defense are all stats for the melee. HP is more general. You can gain HP XP by using ranged and mage. So that one is kind of universal. It's just your max health. So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be getting our strength, attack, and defense. I want you guys to get them to level 10 for the next video. So we're just going to be killing the chickens. And the reason we're doing the chickens is because they drop bones for prayer. If you want to pick up the raw meat, you can. And I'll actually switch over to strength first. So yeah, you can pick up the raw chicken if you want. I'm not going to be, since we'll be banking the shrimps we fish. But yeah, I might also pick up some feathers for when we get to the level of being able to do fly fishing. We'll need those. But the bones are a fairly important part because it's free prayer XP, which when you learn later on doesn't come very easily. And the first few levels are nice to get, just kind of cheaply. So after kill, pick up the bones, just tap them to bury them, and then rinse and repeat. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed this, please let me know. I will be doing these videos hopefully fairly often. I will be doing most of the skilling off of video just so I can skip to the juicy parts that you guys care about. And yeah, I'll try and keep them nice and short and sweet. Okay. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy.